today is going to be the DreamHack Qualifiers for London, and joining me here today is Hugo. How's it going?
Good, good. How are you?
I'm not bad. I think we're jumping into the game fairly quickly, but I want to get an introduction from you because I'm sure people they don't know who you are. I mean, how often have you been doing stuff like this? Are you pretty new, or?
I've been following CS for about 5 years now, but I've been playing. I've been casting since January, February time with 27-1.
Gotcha.
And so yeah, I've been asked down here a couple of times, but finally I actually got to come down today, and I will hopefully be back tomorrow and Wednesday to cast these games with you. So yeah, that's about it.
All right, nice. Well, as I mentioned, we are a bit strapped for time here on the intros. Couldn't even play our fancy intro video. So we're going to be jumping into Penta versus Aftermath first up, and of course everyone will be familiar with Penta from Germany. Aftermath, however, not so much. I imagine people are going to be scratching their heads, wondering who these guys are, but they're Swedes, so generally speaking, it often doesn't matter, but as you can see, Inferno is going to be the first map. We'll go into Cache, and then Dust 2 for the third map if it's required. But already kicking things off, the night's already been played. We'll see Aftermath starting off on the CT side, and Penta kicking it off on the T side.
Yeah, so initially you're going to see some banana control here coming out from Penta. Getting quite aggressive, no smoke, so just going straight in with the shots will come out. Crispy getting the first entry frag there. As the rotates do come in, but they're taking control of the site. One Aftermath player is going to be backing off to construction, but one will go down without a problem with plenty of time left.
And there we go, really nicely done. And look at this lockdown here we're seeing from Penta. Everybody's still alive pretty much at the start. The post-plant setup is looking quite good. Still have construction under control as well. And Aftermath, they're going to have to hit some insanely amazing shots to pull this one off. But this crossfire is pretty damn strong from Penta. And pretty much everybody's cleaned up here. Just draken left.
Draken getting the first kill there. kRYSTAL will be going down, but there's not really going to be much he can do. No kit on him and the time running out. He's just going to try and get extra frags here. And yep, it seems like he's going to try and save his armor, or at least try and get a couple of exits of the CTs as the TC lead on one side. And one will go down, and that'll be the first round to Penta there. So 1-0 scoreline. So
how are we going with these Swedish names here? Is it draken? I'm thinking that it'd be like draken or something, so I'm going to go draken.
Yeah, draken works, yeah.
I guess the rest are pretty simple.
The rest makes sense. We got that.
I guess mrtn up top there, freddieb, doplan. Makes you think of doplan, and quantum.
We're going to see a full rifle buy on the second round from Penta, which is quite interesting, not sticking to the SMG meta, which you usually see, but I guess this is Inferno, so they're going to want some heavy power to kind of push into the chokehold sites that are B and A. But aggressive positions here. We're going to see doplan push up in apps, but no, he's not going to be peeking out. Yeah, he does. Stavros going for the shot. He does manage to pick him off, and now Crispy, getting just overblown by mrtn and Freddy.
Yeah, actually, I'm kind of surprised that we saw the full pistol armor buy, but it makes sense for these Swedes. They're going to have to try and use their individual skill to topple Penta, who are certainly a much more rehearsed team. And we're going to see Stavros picking on Draken there towards CT Arch, but problems here for Penta, as they only have one player left. It's just Stavros with that Galil, and he's going to find himself the bomb, but the CTs have picked up some weapons and they're making their way over. But if he can at least get the bomb plant, he can maybe salvage some of what is a catastrophic round here. And oh dear, mrtn straight in with a headshot, and that is that for Stavros. So defuse comes in, 3 players survive, and they pick up 3 rifles out of this. That is massive.
Yeah, that's one of the problems with force buying second round with rifles instead of SMGs, because the moment one of your enemies gets one of your guns, they can just shut down your whole team, if they have armor at least. You know, sometimes it's safer to go for, a Nova to pick up that money, or an SMG, but 5 rifles, you can kind of see something like this happening, especially with an aggressive CT position like they did in Banana early round.
Yeah, I love the fact that you have this situation on this map where you can get loads of nades as the Ts, and the SMGs, as you say, work out very well as well. But I think you mentioned it as well, this map is so much about the choke points, and you really need the grenades as the Ts to actually get through those choke points safely and not get completely crushed, as we saw in the previous round there. Because, as you mentioned, there was no nades, just rifles. And now it's going to be a pretty easy cleanup as we see the full eco coming out from Penta. Not actually going in with, despite getting the plant down there, I think they could have actually, some teams would have bought into this round to try to get rid of the economy of the CT straight away and force them to an eco. But hey, it's actually not going so badly here. We'll see an entry and a bomb plant from Penta.
Yeah, that's going to get them the $800 bonus. So that's going to be more than enough so they can buy next round, which is good. But somehow they made it onto the site with without a CT smoke, which I'm not sure how they did that, but it doesn't really matter. The bomb plant is down, and the arc plants are looking good, actually. Could this be Eco Wars winning?
Yeah, it's definitely looking pretty solid. Crispy's got himself an AK as well, despite not having any armor. At least the smoke is still up to just kill a little bit of extra time, and they're playing the oldest trick in the book here, both hiding in the dark spot there towards the back of the site. Now, will this actually work? Some damage done, but not the frag. They don't know Strux is there. He's going to be able to pull this one off, and there's not even any time to defuse this one. He's going to take down the diffuser. Oh, and he gets both kills as well. Despite dying, that's a round for Penta. Lovely stuff from them. I have no idea how they got that. I mean, a very fast entry, but still, how do they hold on to that? None of them having any Kevlar and no grenades or anything.
Yeah, the double stack paid off there, but really they didn't even smoke off CT as I mentioned earlier, so I don't know how they even got into the site without losing at least 3 or 4 players from the CT player on the CT side. So, I don't know, it worked, so let's just not question it for now. It's going to be a 2-1 scoreline, and now Aftermatch are going to be pushed into their own eco, so it seems like eco wars are officially commencing. But another full AK buy from Penta. And the CTs really haven't got a lot to work with. They got one Deagle on Quantum, but the rest of it's P250s and P2000s, so I can't imagine seeing them imagine seeing them getting many frags this round at least.
Yeah, it's always going to be harder for the CTs on a situation like this, and this is what I want to see, some grenades being used, but actually we'll see Crisby and kRYSTAL, Strux as well, chiming in to take a frag all over the places. Slow aggressions come out from Aftermatch even. I think I've been calling them Aftermatch the entire time. Aftermatch even. Just a Deagle left on Quantum. And, well, that should be a pretty good round here indeed. Just one player down. And Penta look like they can secure themselves now. Aftermatch needs to... almost did it again. They need to... I would really like to see them save again here. I'm not sure that they're going to do that, but it would be really nice just to see a full buy, all the nades, and maybe even an AWP as well. I don't know who would be actually AWPing for them. Again, we don't know anything about Aftermatch. Swedish mixed team, it would seem, potentially. Could have been longer together longer than what would qualify them as a mixed team, but we'll have to see how they actually fare. You
were right, they did actually decide to eco one more round, which I think is a wise move. You know, Draken only had 3,300 that round. It wouldn't really make sense unless he was going to go for some force buy.
Oh, nice.
Oh, Quantum with a nice one leaving out. It's taking out Stavros, and it seems like ecos are just tearing teams apart right now.
It's actually kind of ridiculous because it's not even these rounds where they're actually saying, oh, we're going to win this round, we're going to buy the armor as well as the pistols. No, it's just armorless, just completely without Kevlar, but still making it work. And we're going to see Martin spotting a player there. That's actually really awesome that he didn't die. He's given the information to his team. He can be a lurking presence for Crisby always to worry about. But now kRYSTAL, he's got to do the damage. Crispy's opened him up, but it's a doplan from below who's able to pick up the kill. So just one man against 3 here. Crispy's going to get taken down. And once again, I don't understand how this is actually happening, but it is. And Aftermatch are, well, keeping themselves in the match.
But, you know, luckily Penta do have the money to buy if they do choose to, and it seems like they will. Stavros already buying up. So, yeah, Penta are going to be going against a full armor, full nades, everything Aftermatch. So it should be an interesting round. Finally, the first round where both teams are buying. And we have actually got an AWP there on Draken on the CT side, so he's going to be going towards A, it seems. Yeah, playing along here. But nothing happening too much. He's trying to get a little bit aggressive in Banana, but the nades aren't going to be stopping them. And I like this passive-aggressive hold from Aftermatch, pushing up to Carb and not actually going too deep into Banana with a far ramp smoke. So they're going to get the pick with the Molotov and they're going to back off, which I think is a safe decision at this point.
Yeah, so we're 6 rounds in, and at the moment it's hard to say who will actually cement economic control. And with Penta on the banana control and the bomb up there as well at this point, it does look like they are potentially thinking about going for play there. But the passivity from Aftermatch is pretty huge. They're not going to give away any info as to what's actually going on the site. If Penta want to get a peek or an entry onto that B-bomb site, they're going to have to be peeking very, very wide here. It's straight in to a point where it commits them completely. And actually, Martin's going to go forward as I say that. So it might not be as committed now if they're going to get a frag there. But here it is, Penta with that early round. Map control trying to find an opportunity, but so far it's not coming easily.
Yeah, and it seems like the bomb's going to be rotating towards the A site, only tabseN lurking near the B site, maybe to create this distraction, but oh no, as I say that, bomb's going to be backing off, going towards B. tabseN seems to be even more pushed up, but he's still got 2 players on the B site to worry about. He's going to go for the shot, not going to manage to pick up the first kill, and we'll go down there to Martin while throwing a smash, and Stavros pushing up long, does manage to get a frag, and that'll be the B bomb site, sorry, taken care of. kRYSTAL trying to get onto the site there. He will go down, but traded instantly. Freddy also going down, and Stavros again on the A site, making work, taking out Quantum while Strux tries to get the bomb down, but nope, he's going to be taken out again by Martin. Martin's a really solid B-hold this round, and the terrorists are going to run out of time. Stavros there, just saving his weapon, not a lot of money left either. This is going to be an awkward position now for Penta with their money. Only $2,000 on most of the players. They're going to have to eco one more.
Yeah, it was a nice effort from Stavros, able to actually make his role work to find a fine level there. Just not going down, keeping both rotating players from out of the picture. But it was his teammates who couldn't get it done on that execute into the site. It was very awkward, and Aftermatch they played it perfectly, and this time we're going to see now the AWP finally making its way onto the server. Draken able to take down one at the start of the map, the round, sorry, and it's going to be, of course, a bit of a save coming in from Penta. So is it going to be Aftermatch that can get that economic control? Because it's so this map can either be T or CT sided based on who has the best economy and who's winning the right rounds essentially. And so far we've seen that neither team has managed to get to grips with that. And I don't want to say anything considering how this match has been going, but Aftermatch look good right now.
Yeah, but a wise decision from Stavros dropping the AK there to Struxy. He's going to be trying to get an entry into the site. Although he's also tagged down to 20 HP. It seems like the AK is cursed. Everyone who has it is going to be tagged down to low HP there. Another smoke will go out and Struxy doesn't get an opportunity to entry. And this is well played by Aftermatch. Not peeking, not pushing, not getting any aggressive positions there on B. And that's going to punish the Ts. And they're not going to be able to push into the site just yet. No nades on them either.
And that was crisby's turn with the AK swapped onto him. So just pass the AK is the name of the game. As Draken's actually going to make his rotation now towards B, so predicting that correctly, and Penta will make their way in. But so far, these entries are not happening for them. They're very, very hard fought, and indeed, it's still a result to be desired, and Draken's going to take down the last two, 4-3, and a flawless round from Aftermatch. That is going to be very helpful indeed. We can see them able to happily rebuy to full grenades, a bunch of incendiaries as well. I would hope to see 5, but at best we can see 4, and there it is. And we're going to see, is that a Nova on Stavros?
A questionable decision, I guess, but, you know, he did save his rifle the other round, meaning he only had $600, and then, you know, the bonus from losing didn't really give him enough to kind of buy an AK. So, still, I'd say a Nova is quite questionable on the T side, but we'll see what he can do. You never know, really. Yeah, it seems like he's going to be going to app, so if any of the CTs do decide to get aggressive, we might be able to get an early frag, but we never know, really.
And as soon as this situation where the CTs play passively in apps, you're like, well, my Nova is pretty useless. There's no utility for it there if it's not in the close ranges. And look at this though, Aftermatch actually going for the aggressive banana control. We're going to see that for the first time from them. Smoking it off, potentially can throw one player back in towards that A defense for the 4-man setup. But so far they're just holding it with 2.
But at this point, mrtn, I think it would be a wise decision to kind of push up and get on the flank. All the Penta players are actually on the A site, or near the A site at least, but it seems like the CTs are going to be backing off B, not getting aggressive, but at least they got that information that the terrorists aren't going to go in towards B, and the rotator is going to come in there from the CTs, and actually a nice smoke wall coming out from Penta, and doplan jumping up onto Graveyard is going to manage to pick up 1 kill, goes for the second and succeeds with that, and the Nova, let's see if he can make some work, but kRYSTAL down to 13 HP will get finished off in just a Nova versus 2. But no, Stavros decides to go for the pistol. Now it's a 1 versus 1 situation, and mrtn rotating in fast, but the bomb seems like it will go down. Oh, nope, Stavros goes counter. Should be pulling out the Nova.
No way!
Oh my god. Why did he even buy a primary? A P250 was good enough.
Oh my goodness.
Nice 3k there from Stavros.
And there were rifles all over the place as well. He's like, nope, just going to hold on to this Nova and win it with a pistol. Well, 4-4. I did not expect Penta to actually win that round, considering how that actually started off. But very well done to them indeed, 4-4. And now, Aftermatch, they are holding on to their lives, economically speaking, at the moment. We're going to see a full buy-up, but I think they're on a save if they lose this one.
Yeah, but Penta also, they're not in a great economical situation. If you look, they've got a lot of Galils on them. I think only 1 AK I saw. So, although they did win the round, that's not going to be too good for them because they don't actually have a lot of kit to work with. They have actually got 1-4 there on Stavros who saved it from last round, but apart from that, kRYSTAL with an AK and everyone else picking up Galils, and they really need that one-shot headshot, especially on T-side entering sites.
Yeah, best case scenario for them if they lose this round and get the bomb down is $2,700 to each member with the loss bonus and the bonus from the bomb as well. That is pretty pitiful. So really big round as you mentioned, as you pointed out, just that 2 basically it means 2 for either side. So again, I'm still looking at the situation. Which team is going to finally pull away? This would be an excellent moment to do it by winning this round. One of these teams could start to really generate momentum, but we know what's been happening on these pistol rounds as well.
It kind of depends on who's going to get 2 rounds in a row first, and then they can rack up the economic the economy, sorry, and then, you know, Penta will be forced to eco if it's Aftermatch, and Aftermatch will be forced to eco if it's Penta, and then they can kind of just keep on racking up rounds where they build up a solid bank and get to around, you know, 10k when they're 3 or 4 rounds ahead, and, you know, that pretty much gives them a really solid half, regardless of the side, but at the moment we're still waiting for that.
Nice execute coming in from Penta, using the blue truck smoke to just go straight through construction, but this very, very hyper-defensive setup on the back of the bomb site is working fantastically. Martin's still alive. They haven't spotted him by first oranges. The bomb is going to go down, but quickly the planter will be dispatched thanks to Martin, and I feel like we need to see. I mean, I think Aftermatch has shown Penta a few times that they are playing a very defensive B site, and usually a good vulnerability there if that playstyle is to any Molotov executes that you see teams throwing out there, because then if you're playing really far back, you're stuck on the site. You've got to move as your T opponents are moving into the bomb site, and it can be very awkward. It's a good way to try to counteract that, but Penta, they're kind of letting Aftermatch play their game, and Aftermatch looks like they're pretty strong within those scenarios.
But if you just look there at the bottom, we did see the statistics on who everyone thinks is going to win, and it seems like Penta is the fan favourite here, rocking almost 90% on some of the bets on e-gaming bets and CSGO Lounge. But I don't know. I think it's mainly because people don't know Aftermatch, but that kind of should put a little ambiguity in it. You don't know them, so why get so confident that they're going to lose? So it seems like Aftermatch are doing quite well. Although, as I say, that kRYSTAL there pushing out of Boiler will manage to get the first frag onto draken. But crisby here holding. He will manage to get frag as well. Oh, right through the smoke, freddieb taking out crisby there. But yeah, as I was saying, Aftermatch, we don't know them, so who knows what they're like. They could be just you know, your average mixed team that aren't really going to perform very well against good teams, but they could be, you know, incredible, insane individual players and then manage to out-aim the opponents. So it's an interesting decision to see. So many people think Penta will take this. Yeah,
it's definitely what you should expect. It's what, I mean, Penta, they might even see even a possibility for them to get in their heads a little bit if this is not working, if their standard plays are not working here, because Aftermatch, they're starting to get on a bit of a roll, and here it goes, the aggressive push up Banana, and Aftermatch shut it down. Penta need a result right now, but 2 of the remaining players are incredibly low, and so in fact they'll lose 1 more as it goes 2 to 3, and doplan's on the flank. This looks doomed for Penta, even if they do get the bomb planted.
Yeah, draken's going to have a nice cross here. The smoke does go down though, so that's going to prohibit him, but he will be able to push through construction, or go for an alternative push through the smoke, although I wouldn't see that to be too wise. kRYSTAL does shut down the flank from doplan, and now it's a 2-on-2, and the bomb is down, so the advantage is given to Penta here.
Draken, you can see he's kind of struggling. What do I do with this AWP? And his teammate's going to try to push forward, so they're going to try to take it 2 at a time and cover each other, get the trades in, but there it is. Strucks from Pool will take down Draken. And look at this, somehow Quantum's actually managed to just work his way around that position, picks up the kill, but the bomb is ticking away incredibly quickly. He's got to go for the hold. There's no other choice, really. The bomb is so far gone at this point. I don't...
Did he just...
I think he's got barely enough time.
Oh my god.
Oh, just barely enough time.
Wow, that was a crazy play by Quantum. Nice 3k as well. I did not expect that.
Clutch. Yeah, that was really sick.
And Penta have been hurt so much by that, but they're going to call in a pause.
I mean, just working his way around. I mean, I think he was looking for the player on Banana. I think they anticipated that setup, but that was pretty fortunate that smoke was down there for him to actually work through as his teammate goes down. And well, very nicely done from Quantum. And now we will see that 7-4 scoreline. We were talking about this. This is the point where you would expect, okay, Penta, they did get the bomb down, so if they want, they can try to destabilize the economy, try to go for a force-up, but you would expect them to just go for the single eco, get the full buyout, and play normal buy rounds. They've had some success with a variety of buy rounds, but in Aftermatch, they've been switching up the type of player that they're going for in these rounds as well. They've done very aggressive Banana play. They've done very defensive Banana play. They've kind of mixed the two a little bit. It's actually hard to predict how Aftermatch are going to be playing Banana, but I feel like Penta should try to take Banana control at the start of the match to at least eliminate some of the possibilities for Aftermatch.
Yeah, and that's one of the things about being unpredictable, you know, it's such a good strategy, but oh yeah, as highlighted there, Draken is going to be all the way down to 8 HP, which isn't too helpful, but he is AWPing, so you know, it's not too bad. At least he's not entry fragging with a rifle or anything, and he gets a nice position in the library. We'll get the first kill there onto tabseN, and it seems like Penta aren't going to really be able to do too much here, unless they can get a nice tag on the Draken and finish him off and then drop that AWP down. That could be the best they could probably do, but with these P250s and these Tech 9s, they're probably going to be shut down. There we see doplan getting another shot to Struxy, and kRYSTAL also going down. Now krisby is left alive in a 1-on-5, and I don't see anything happening out of this one. Draken finishing him off, and that'll be 8 rounds to Aftermatch. So a really solid half so far by Aftermatch. 8 rounds is pretty good. I know this is a CT-sided map, but you know, they're shutting down Penta on quite a lot of rounds, especially the buy rounds, and their retakes are really solid.
And this is why I never underestimate unknown Swedish players and teams, because it was like this back in 1.6 days as well. You have a region where there is like an incredible depth to the talent pool, people that have been playing forever and have a lot of experience despite not necessarily being known. So, well, maybe we'll see an upset here from Aftermatch. They've started things off well at the very start of this series. Draken able to pick up a kill into Stavros straight away with an aggressive play coming in from doplan as well. He's going to shut down play into second mid. So now Penta, before they can even put a first foot forwards, they're getting their entire limbs, all their limbs just lopped off here by the aggression of Aftermatch.
mrtn go for some tags through smoke, but as I say, that doplan, crazy play out of Boiler, does manage to get 2 kills onto the Penta players. Now it's just krisby, and he's also going to be shut down, and that's going to be a 4K from doplan.
That's one of the most upsetting things as well, when you're like, okay, we're going to go for the save, we're going to play our round out, and Aftermatch smartly have said, hey, okay, we're actually in a lead right now. We've got a bit of money to play with. We can kind of try to throw a crazy round at them. If we lose it, we can still buy up. It's not a big deal. But if we win it, it's a situation like this. The buy for Penta's not too amazing. They've got 2 Tech 9s instead of having rifles. And they're getting in their heads a bit as well. Because that always is a situation that happens when it feels like you can't do anything. And that's what they just did to Penta.
Yeah, and Penta deciding to go for a force buy when there's only 2 rounds left of the half instead of just ecoing and going for a full nade buy and buy next round. But aggression by mrtn, he will get the first frag but also punished for it. But he does do a dink onto krisby. That's going to be quite effective, and now it's a 4 versus 4. But the advantage, I say, is at Aftermath's favour because you know krisby's HP is quite low and he isn't AWPing, he's got a rifle, so that's going to be a problem for him. But we see the T's. Looks like they're setting up for a B take here, lining up smokes. Or maybe some kind of fake, but the bomb, yeah, the bomb's still in banana. They're not going to be rotating just yet, and the last A player is coming over to B. So, and it seems like Aftermatch have already predicted this. We're going to see a CT be moving. Oh no, he's just moving into the library. I assumed he's going to be rotating to B, but the smokes go out and the flashes will follow, entering the site. But the nades are going to come out from the CTs, and that's going to do some damage there to stavros and tabseN. Freddy getting the first frag, and doplan following up, and that's just going to be a shutdown so far. Only 2 players left on the T side, and kRYSTAL going to be dinked through the wall. 47 HP remaining, and tabseN's also following up. And kRYSTAL, and kRYSTAL actually gets a double there. That's incredible. They've taken control of the site now, and the bomb almost going down, but a push through smoke on Quantum will completely destroy that, and now kRYSTAL is alive in a 1-on-2. He's going for the 4 code, but nope, the AWP will shut him down, and that will be the second last round of the half. 10-4 at the moment. That's really, really impressive from Aftermatch.
First engagement was pretty outrageous there from Aftermatch, getting a frag but then a dink as well, which is almost as good as getting a second kill. We saw krisby was a non-factor into the push, and everything just seems to be going like that for Aftermatch. Everything is going their way. They're hitting all their shots, and I think Penta is starting to falter in that regard. We saw that their entry into that bomb site was incredibly laboured. They couldn't pull out the the trades at all, and that if that's not happening, then you can't play a T side. You need to be able to hit those trades. And right now it's going to be once again Aftermatch deciding to play it a little bit more passively. They've shown a wealth of options into their CT setups, into their strategies, and this one looks a bit more standard. This is something that can deal with anything, and they can play a little bit reactively as to how Penta want to play. And I'm sure they're aware that Penta does not have the best loadout possible either.
Not a lot of nades, especially. krisby doesn't even have a single one in Struxy, rocking that Tech 9. Of course, you can do something with a Tech 9, especially on a map like Inferno, but not as preferable to a rifle at least.
They're actually gambling as well, our Aftermatch. They have a floater from the B side into CT, into very close towards A, towards Arch side, and they don't actually have the info on banana at all. So that's actually just a straight up gamble, and it's always good to throw those in. Now let's see if it's going to pay off here. Penta are going to make their way in for the execute. Well, they've already wrapped in towards the A side as well, through to library, straight on in now, and that's incredibly quick. But Strux is going to take down Draken. We get trades all over the place here, but it's going to be just Stavros who's left alive. He has so much left to do, and nothing to do it with. doplan takes him down, and 11-4, that's massive. The Swedes over the Swedes.
That's going to be a good half there, but I noticed the problem with Penta in that half, at least with their banana control, is you mentioned the floater, the rotator from Aftermath going down towards the A site there, and that's because when Penta are going towards B, they're going to make a lot of B noise. They're going to be throwing nades. They're going to be showing themselves, and so Aftermatch obviously predicted that because there's no presence in banana, that they were probably going towards an A take, and that's why the floater probably came in. So Penta not doing too well on that, but you know. We're going into the second half, and everything can change when you're on the CT side. So it seems like it's going to be some kind of full B rush coming out from Aftermatch. And the rotates will come in. If you just check 3 players rotating, that's going to be 4 players on the B site. So unless Aftermatch back off.
It's actually a pretty cool setup because they have kRYSTAL, who's actually on the balcony on the second mid area, and he can actually spot if there is a switch up to mid. So they don't even need to have the extra player there on mid who you just spotted. I think kRYSTAL's kind of redundant there. And they are actually going to go in for that B play. And now here it is, Stavros. He's got some free shots here. He's going to make the most of them, and he will. He'll get 2 quick kills. In fact, it was 3. What a defense there from Stavros, but the bomb will still go down.
Yeah, Stavros, a nice 3K, all headshots as well to pick up, which is actually quite interesting. And now the rotate is going to come in for the retake, actually, kRYSTAL. Gets that shot onto draken, and now doplan is left alive in a 1-on-3. The bomb is down, so if he just plays time and doesn't peek, he might be able to work here quite well. But flash has come out, and there we go. kRYSTAL picking up that headshot, doplan going down. The defuse will come in, and this could be the start of an amazing comeback by Penta.
Yeah, absolutely. Starting with a good economy is an absolute must, but I would actually like to see Aftermatch, considering that they have a big lead. I think it could be quite cool to go for the full buy right now and just go for that surprise buy. If they have a play with that, I mean, there's a lot of teams that just don't prepare for situations like this because they're kind of in Penta's heads. They've been hitting their shots. Penta, if they get a good start, they can start to really repair more or less everything, the morale, the economy. And Aftermatch, if they went for like a full buy here with a nice little execute, maybe they could get a couple of entries, get the bomb down again, and then Penta, their money is completely screwed. So it would be cool to see that, but we're actually going to see a full save from Aftermatch. They'll go straight up, very standard, as Penta would expect as well. Get that first save in, then get the rifle buy in the following rounds.
Yeah, so it's going to be a Glock train here through apps. 4 of the players and the bomb going to be pushing through. So tabseN, go for those shots. He does manage to pick up 1, get some tags, and actually goes for 3. That's incredible. Switching to his USP. Going to get the 4th. Oh no, kRYSTAL following up with 1, and tabseN will pick up the 4th in the end with the USP, and that will be just a pure cleanup by Penta. Not even a gun lost that round. And kRYSTAL ecoing for the AWP also won't go down, so he's racking up that money. Next round he should be able to get an AWP, unless he decides to buy now, which, yeah, will probably be the best decision with Aftermatch forcing it up now with rifles.
Yeah, it's always a very hard round to play as the tease there with absolutely nothing to work with in a choke point-oriented map. Either way, we'll see those smokes coming out to play for Aftermatch. They've got 5 smokes to use, not a lot of anything else, though, when it comes to utility. So Aftermatch looking for some early map control, and Penta, I mean, I think they're doing the right thing here, just putting in a standard setup to begin with. They do have 2 players towards arch side, and that's usually very good if you're expecting a pick-based play from the tease, like instead of a more kind of nade-based play to take map control here. And it is Aftermatch playing it really slow. In fact, I think Penta's pace or expectation of pace is a little bit faster than how Aftermatch are actually playing, because a minute's gone and they're only just stepping 1 foot into apartments now. So, and they're not even all the way up banana. So very slow map control here from Aftermatch, because there's only 50 seconds left now, and they still haven't got a pick, information, or any kind of advantage at all.
It seems like they're just waiting for the CTs to get aggressive, and I think Penta realises that, which is why they're not pushing at all. They're just playing passive angles, and it seems to be working. If you run down the time, now we're getting to, 40, 30 seconds left on the clock. If they just throw down a couple of smokes, they can hold out the round, and the bomb won't even be able to get down. So Aftermatch, they're smoking off long. Seems like they're going to finally go for a fake, actually, as freddieb does push out, and the players are rotating off B now, but Aftermatch pushing up into banana, and they finally realise back on the B side, the Molotov did just stop that rush, and as they push through the bomb, got to be full white there, draken.
Time is a massive issue here now. They have 10 seconds to plant the bomb. This is absolutely ridiculous. The bomb goes down as well. That should be game over here as they try to make it happen, but there is no time. Nope, that's not going to happen. kRYSTAL's going to take him down, but there wasn't even time to punch in the numbers. And there it is. I mean, they made that a little bit complicated for themselves instead of just going for the straight up A play when they didn't have any time to work with. And that's all it takes is for that bomb to go down, and then all of a sudden you've got a situation on your hands. And actually, one thing that was pretty cool that I spotted, I mean, I think Penta with the 2 guys on arch side, they actually boosted over the smoke as well that went in to try to obscure that it was going to be a fake. So I think they actually started to realize because they actually saw nothing over the top of the smoke. But also, I mean, for Aftermatch, they can't play it that slow. They have to force out smokes much sooner, otherwise they'll run into the same problem every single time on a default. They need to try to take an advantage earlier on and force out grenades earlier on. That's the name of the game. It's Inferno.
Yeah, it seemed like a kind of IGL issue. When they just rushed into B site, you know, raw, no smokes or anything, it just seemed like they kind of didn't really have a clue what to do. They were like, oh, you know, let's just go. We have to do something. We're running out of time. Instead of having, hey, here guys, here's a base strategy. We've got to do this, this, this. So that could be a, you know, communication or an IGL problem for Aftermath, which could hurt on their T side at least. They had an excellent CT side, but, you know, you need both to be able to win a game, especially against a team like Penta. You know, Penta are known, although they're not, you know, the best team in the world, they can still perform. And it seems like they will be doing that at the moment. Only 3 players left on Aftermath's side, and freddieb with that rifle and only 1 HP, so it's a questionable decision there.
Yeah, you can definitely see Penta starting to really hit their stride a little bit, and CT is always going to be much more comfortable for the team that's got coordination and rehearsal. And I mean, the same can be said for a team that doesn't have as much rehearsal, but the coordination's quite simple. The setups are pretty standard. I think that's definitely one of the reasons why Aftermatch got so many rounds there on their first half, much easier.
doplan does get a frag, but freddieb seems like he's timed out here. Or no, he's crouched, so he must be...
Yeah, he's just saving it. And
yeah, he's saving.
A hopeless round there from Aftermatch, to be honest. Once again, I mean, I can't see them winning this map if they don't have... It's very possible they don't have any executes, which is bad enough. But if you don't have any executes, you at least need to find a way to secure picks. And the way to do that is with nades, and it's by taking challenges. And also potentially, if you've got a guy that's pretty good with an orb, finding him into some angles towards middle banana or apartments. There's always lots of options for that these days. We've seen that be very clear from the very top level. However, Aftermatch so far, they're kind of being played by Penta. Penta actually are reading it well though. They're not using their grenades too early. They're actually reading what Aftermatch are doing and adjusting, and basically abusing and exploiting it.
Yeah, so early pick already from Penta, and that's going to shut down Aftermatch quite early. And I think kRYSTAL should probably back off here. They don't want to get traded. And kRYSTAL taking a little bit of damage, but he will actually survive that. And now draken's also going to lose some HP, and it doesn't seem like Penta want to get too aggressive here yet. kRYSTAL backing off and probably going to be resmoking mid in a second, and this is going to be a problem for Aftermatch. You know, they seem to just be rushing something instead of going for picks, like you said. So, you know, that could be a problem, especially with 4 players versus 5 on a retake. kRYSTAL's already rotated to the B site here, but that's at the wrong time as Aftermath have backed off, and they're going to be rerouting towards the A site here with the bomb going in underpass. But as I say that, backing off again to B, it seems like they don't have any decisions at the moment.
It's always nice to move the AWP around. I do really like that. But at the same time, it's also good to see that Penta, although we saw kRYSTAL, it looked a little bit hungry there at the start of the round to try to get some early frags. Right now what they're doing is working. They really shouldn't change it, because I think Aftermatch, they've been struggling. Here is the first kind of execute we're going to see from them. They're making their way with some grenades, but this actually looks quite strong here positionally for Penta right now. Great flick there over the top from kRYSTAL by the coils, and now Stavros is going to go in. He gets eliminated straight away. Lovely stuff by doplan, and maybe they're in with a chance here.
Bomb is actually going to go down now to 2 versus 3, so if they can just get good afterplants and play a little bit passive, they might be able to pick up the round. And it seems that Penta are just regrouping, making sure they're all together so they can go for the retake there. But slow play at the moment, just waiting for the smokes to fade out as they flash the players in. tabseN and Struxy pushing in, and close here. He does manage to pick up the first kill now. It's a 2v2, but Struxy also picking up the kill for doplan, and Quantum will finally go down. So they although they got the $800 from the bomb, they will manage to Penta will manage a retake just with a few seconds left. The bomb will be defused, and that'll be another round to Penta. This looks like a good comeback so far. 9 to 11 right now.
Unfortunately, Quantum didn't get any more kills there. I mean, had he gotten even just an extra kill, that would have been made a huge difference. We're going to see that a lot of money was spent by Penta, but having 2 players survive is certainly a significant boon in comparison with just having 1 survive. So they just need to have like a relatively clean round here, and they are going to just avoid that horrible situation of getting reset too soon. And kRYSTAL's already going to pick up a frag, and that is the beauty of switching up your AWP where he's playing. We'll see that angle. It was so exposed. He's going to go in for more. This guy is just he just doesn't care at all. kRYSTAL, yeah. He's just so frag hungry. He's going to get him.
They do actually have an AWP on T side, so sadly he couldn't do anything to trade doplan there. But Seems like kRYSTAL, yeah, as you said, is just going to be destroying the T's at the moment. I think they've realised they don't have any really good executes apart from, you know, normal smoke off B, smoke off A, whatever, and push it. So I think he's taking advantage of their lack of...
Yeah, it's an interesting situation when doplan's just like stepping up slow, 2 mates have died, and he's like, guys, because he just didn't have any impact on the round, and now they're going to try to make some impact by going up middle. It feels like it's more or less a desperation play. There's not much else to do, and here it is. They make their way into quad, and we'll see a very defensive setup. I love this from Penta. This is exactly how you do it. kRYSTAL's positioning couldn't be better. doplan goes in. Oh, he's going to get flashed, and kRYSTAL, he is working himself into an ace potentially here. mrtn with an insane double on the end of this round. There's 20 seconds left. Can he find a bomb plant here? It's very unlikely. He's going to try to wrap around through library side. And there's kRYSTAL in the bomb side looking for that ace. Here he goes, and it will happen. kRYSTAL picks himself up at the ace. Lovely stuff indeed. What a game so far from kRYSTAL.
Yeah, so 10-11 scoreline now, and now Aftermatch are going to be going for an eco. Penta just with an incredible comeback, as we did say was a possibility, and seems like it's going to be the real thing now. I don't know if Aftermatch are really going to be able to do anything. If they could even pick up 1 or 2 rounds, let alone another 5 to secure the win at least, that could be a problem for them. Now flashes are going to come in. It's going to be a full B rush here. All 5 players pushing up. Struxy going for the shot. He does manage to get the first kill on Stavros. Behind him also getting a nice double there, and kRYSTAL probably getting a team kill onto Stavros as he's trying to out-AWP the opponents. But the smoke coming into CT, and it doesn't seem like they're pushing up too aggressively, so they're not going to be able to get the bomb down at this point. If kRYSTAL can out-aim them here. Just getting shots off, not managing to hit anything at the moment, and now mrtn and draken left alone. mrtn only on 4 HP, so he might have a problem here.
Yeah, they actually managed to somehow plant the bomb, which is always going to be nice, but crisby is lurking, waiting for the perfect moment to strike, finds that moment, and he will take the life of another player of Aftermatch. So these Swedes are having the best time. draken's going for the spray down. Oh, he runs out of bullets. Could maybe have made that happen, although it still would have been difficult, but that extra damage is always good. 11-11, and it looks like we're going to see actually Penta able to tie things up now. So have we even seen any round wins here from Aftermatch?
No, 11-4 was the first half, and it just seems like Penta's brought it all back completely. And
2 by time there as well.
Yeah,
tells you a lot, I think, about Aftermatch.
I really think that if they work on their T side, they could do something. But at the moment, it just doesn't seem like they've got a single chance of winning this game if they haven't picked up a single round. Whereas Penta's got 7. There we go, Stavros with the AWP.
Double AWP as well. That's taking liberties right here. You don't normally see a double AWP on this map. I would actually hesitate to say that that is a bit arrogant, and it's not so efficient. It's pretty risky.
Especially on retakes. Retakes are hard enough on Inferno, on either site really. I'd say especially the A site. So yeah, double AWPing is really questionable. But it seems that Penta have both the economy and the rounds to do it.
They're really starting to, especially off the back of kRYSTAL, man. I think he's pumping these guys up a lot, and tabseN is going to take down Freddy there in apartments. So again, I don't think I've seen a situation where, oh my goodness, kRYSTAL's going for a peek there, and they still can't take him down. In comes reinforcements. The trade's happening there. kRYSTAL gets out of there. That 1-for-1 is not going to be favorable though. Can Aftermatch capitalize? Looks like they can't. tabseN is in with 1 as well.
And now here we go. Struxy with the flank will finish off Quantum, and there we go. 12 rounds to Penta, and they've finally overtaken Aftermatch, and Aftermatch haven't got a single round on T side at all. Have they even made like a single pick, really? No, it seems like basically what they're doing is they're waiting out the time till there's 30 seconds left, and then just full rushing a site, getting the bomb down, and then just getting retaken, and it's happened 4 or 5 times now, and it's not working. Or, other than that, they're getting picked early, just on their own, and not being able to trade. So they're not doing the thing here. There we go, that's the kind of thing we're looking for. But you see, they're turning a pick into a full rush, which, can work. But at the moment, they've been getting a pick and going for a full rush, and it's not been working. So how about get a pick, settle down, get an A player to rotate to B, and then it's a 2 on each side situation. But no, they're not going to do that. They're going to go straight into the side. Here we go, almost Quake play, just running in, jumping and spraying, and doplan getting a frag there, and it's going to be a 4 versus 3. The bomb is going to go down, so maybe this could be their first round. Who knows?
It's quite interesting because Penta had 2 players running straight down mid. They slowed their roll a little bit, and they are not as quick into the site as they would have hoped, but it's kRYSTAL with a sick entry actually into pool, and that's Quantum down. Draken though can still save this, comes in from the back with a Tech 9, and there it is, snaps the head of tabseN straight off with that Tech 9. That bomb ticking away, nice jump action there from kRYSTAL, the chaos here, absolute madness, and once again Penta will secure a round with a collective 12 HP between two players, the crisby and kRYSTAL, and that should not have happened. Oh my god, it was incredibly close as well.
If you notice though, kRYSTAL was retaking the site in front of his teammate using an AWP, just entering with an AWP on a retake when the bomb's down, and it was working. So I don't know what was happening there, but it seems like Aftermatch is, after plants, not even their positions, just their pure play in the after plants, especially with crossfires, isn't working out, and they're not trading at all. So they're just getting completely just wiped out there. And kRYSTAL again just going so aggressive, and it's working. I guess it's working.
It is, yeah. I mean, it's really nice when kRYSTAL's hitting his shots like he's been doing. And now we're going to see draken actually trying to entry in towards banana. This could potentially change things a little bit, although again they're going to lose a player early on. Oh my goodness, kRYSTAL giving draken a haircut with that AWP. So draken's looking for something, but now Penta are falling back a little bit. They're repositioning. Will Aftermatch figure it out, or will they once again get caught out by it? Looks like again kRYSTAL's going to catch him off guard with the AWP, and that's another advantage. 4 versus 3 now for Penta.
kRYSTAL's just going insane this game completely, and if you notice, the AWP has switched off of doplan, who it was on a few rounds ago, now to draken. So you know that shows something. They must be thinking, okay, we need to do something, we need to change something, which is good at least. But you know, just switching an AWP over to another player isn't really going to make a huge amount of difference, especially when you're getting shut down this far. And it seems like Penta are on their way to winning their 14th round so far.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah, like I said, you see, Aftermatch aren't doing anything. They're not working off picks. They're sitting in T-spawn. Not, you know, they need to work. They need to try and get a pick. And this is one of the reasons they're losing rounds. And now there's only 20 seconds left on the clock. And kRYSTAL's throwing down the Molotov, and there's not really going to be a whole lot they can do here. Nades coming out. kRYSTAL peeking with the AWP. Won't manage to get any frags, but the CT smoke seems to have failed a little bit. He can just peek through the edge of it, and tabseN with the flank, and he is going to manage to pick up a kill. And crisby there with a nice double in banana, and that'll be another round to Penta, 14-11, and it's close to match point at this point.
Yeah, I mean, in a lot of situations, the way that they're playing this so slowly and all, they have to actually run through the smokes because they're not forcing the grenades out. So, you know, we see a situation there, and also in some of the previous rounds where they're like, oh crap, there's nades down and we want to rush when there's 20 seconds left, guys. I guess we kind of have to just rush through them and hope for the best. And that's happening way too much, obviously. And again, just the fact that they're playing this so slowly or getting caught off by Penta's aggressions here and there, this just cannot happen, really. We need to see more play into middle, just like this can work as well. Going to get a bit of lag there, but the double from kRYSTAL's AWP. This guy is just blowing him away.
He's just re-peeking, kill after kill. Oh my god, that flick, kRYSTAL, 4K already. And will this be his second ace of the game? The bomb is just going to go down there by Freddy. It seems like kRYSTAL is frag hungry. He wants to go for it. He wants his second ace. He pulls out the 5-7.
Leave it to me, guys.
Pushing towards the side. The Molotov will go down, but kRYSTAL with the second ace of the game, and that's just incredible. And that will be 15 rounds to Penta, so match point now.
Yeah, there's not much they can do when they get doubled on the entry. That's just kind of unlucky. But at the same time, it does show that Aftermatch, I mean, that was kind of obviously a rushy way to try to take them out of control. And there's always a risk that stuff like that can happen when you're putting so many bodies through at once and not trying to take the corners, try to maybe smoke or flash him out of that angle, whether it be CT's, whether it be arch side or whether it be quad side. It just deciding to just go in like that is always possible. That can always happen. So again, it's just a bit of a showing that Aftermatch don't quite have the rehearsal and some of the coordination they need.
Stavros, early pick there. doplan does go down, but what I'd like to see is Aftermatch utilising the AWP and trying to pick kRYSTAL on long or short or wherever he's playing. You know, just play a crossfire setup, pushing up towards the A site with a pop flash. You know, that could work. I haven't seen that at all. I've seen them smoking off long and then pushing short, or smoking off short and pushing long. But you know, instead of just rushing something, how about go for picks? Because you know, last round we saw a rush and we saw how well that worked out. So Aftermatch should kind of change something. At least I'll take something back from this game. You know, guys, we need to work on our T side a lot. And here we go, tabseN with a nice aggressive position in action, Freddy. And mrtn does manage to get a kill himself, but it's going to be a 4 versus 2, and there's not going to be a whole lot to do. tabseN pushing out of apps, finishing off with a double, and that'll be the first match to Penta Sports beating Aftermatch. So, an incredible comeback by Penta, and I was really impressed by that play. What about you?
Yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed for Aftermatch. I mean, T-side is really hard if you're you know, you haven't been together for very long. If you're more of a mix, let's say. But generally speaking, again, just not even getting the pick play right.
Yeah.
That's actually what you would expect the mixy team to be able to do, is be able to just try to work into those picks, try to use the individual skill. But instead, they kind of went, let's try to play like a team despite not really having the practice to do so. And they just chilled like way too much. They were trying to be Na'Vi without the coordination or the strategies behind it. Yeah, it didn't really work out. So cool to see that Penta bounced back, because I would be very sad for them if they weren't actually able to make it through here. I think if there is justice, they should make it through here. Penta is a good team. They've got a lot of practice behind them, and they've been doing better and better lately. So I would hope for them to win this. And well, there's Cash next. I'm not actually sure who picked Inferno.
No, I'm gonna go ahead and guess it's Penta, because of Aftermatch clearly wasn't really ready with their T side, at least on that map. But you know, maybe it was just that map. Maybe they'll be more you know, impressive, let's just say, on Cash. Let's hope, at least. Let's hope it's not just a complete shutdown there from Penta again.
Absolutely. Well, I guess we'll take a quick break, guys, whilst we set up the next map and get that all ready to go for you. So please stay tuned. We'll be back here on Face TV for more for the DreamHack London qualifiers.